Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fearfully and Wonderfully Me, a podcast designed to help you become the leader you are destined to be. Today's episode is on the time trade-off. I did a post on this not too long ago, and it was got a lot of views and some interesting comments. And I thought, you know what, I'd like to dig down into that a little bit more than I can do on a post with 1,300 characters in LinkedIn. So I thought this would be a good topic for a podcast episode because it's Michael Sciortino who says, what you decide to do is important because you are exchanging a day of your life for it. And I hear so much of the time, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. I'd like to do this, but I don't have time for it. It's one of the biggest excuses I hear is I'm too busy. I got too much to do. I got too many commitments. Here's the thing. That's an excuse that we create for ourselves. And the reason that it's an excuse we create for ourselves is because the question is never, do we have enough time? The question is, what are we doing with our time? Is what we're doing important? And are we doing the right things? And that's an important question because back to the quote, what you decide to do is important because you're exchanging a day of your life for it. And I think if we can keep that top of mind, we'll quit exchanging life for the activities that don't bring us joy or add value to others or don't serve our purpose or long-term goals. You know, for example, I tell people, typically on Friday afternoon, everybody's excited about getting off work and having some downtime, planning a relaxing weekend. But as you get off work next Friday or next time you're getting off work, are you thinking about how you're going to exchange your time and your life over the weekend? And what's the return on investment? What's the ROI? Now, there's absolutely a time and a place, and we all need some downtime, some relaxation, and so it's certainly okay to sleep in a little bit later on Saturday morning, or maybe go to a dinner party or watch a movie. There's absolutely a time and a place for those activities. There's nothing wrong with those activities. But if you're not taking time for personal growth and developing yourself, then you guarantee that you're going to go back to work Monday in exactly the same place as last week and the week before and the week before. So it's not that we have a problem with relaxing activities or having some downtime and some rest. It's the problem is that a lot of times we are saying we are doing too much of those things and we're not including activities or time that will help us grow, or we're saying yes to the wrong things, the wrong priorities, and that doesn't leave us with time to grow and develop ourselves. And let me say, this has been a struggle for me. Especially early in my 20s, I think I was just the worst person in the world at saying no. I hated to tell people no. And I've shared this before with you on previous podcast episodes. But, if somebody wanted me to do something or needed me to do something, that was even much more difficult to say no to, because we like to feel needed and necessary. We like to feel valuable. And so it's nice. It's almost flattering when someone needs us to do something. We feel like we're special, we matter, we make a difference. But a lot of times what I found is that I would say yes to something and I wasn't the best at it, or it didn't fulfill me. I would finish, whatever it was I'd said yes to and gone, man, that was not worth the time that I spent doing it. So, I wanted to just challenge you to think about that. What are you doing today that's important enough to justify exchanging a day of your life for it? Now, it's absolutely possible to make some changes and achieve something else. If you're working in a job and you're not happy or satisfied or fulfilled there, maybe you want to start your own business. But the time trade-off is you're going to have to sacrifice nights or maybe weekends or something to develop yourself or to grow your business or to start your business. And so you're going to have to sacrifice maybe some family time or movie time or gym time. Or maybe you're deciding that this year is the year you want to get strong and get in shape and run a half marathon. The sacrifice is going to be, sleeping in late on Saturday mornings, because Saturday morning now you're going to have to get up and go run 3 times a week. So, but think about that. It really comes down to being intentional. The time trade-off is just a question, is what we're doing worth the amount of life we're sacrificing for it? And if the answer is no, then we need to not do it. That's the simple part. I think the important part is being able to commit to that, being intentional about that thought. I know so many people who, they'll say something like, I've got to go to a party with so-and-so, or I've got bunko night, or I've got to go to somebody's wedding. And that's not a bad thing. If you want to go to somebody's wedding or want to get together with your friends, but is it worth the amount of life that you're exchanging for it? Is it bringing you a great return on your investment? And that's so critical, because here's the thing about time. We can spend it just about any way that we choose to spend it. There aren't any excuses when it comes to time, because we can't manage time. There's no such thing as managing time. Time is just there. It's just passing. The only question is, what are we doing with it? You may say, well, gosh, I don't have enough time because I got to work to pay the bills. Well, you do have to pay your bills, but you probably have to make some, it's kind of one of those things that it's just kind of some tough truth, some tough love. If you feel like you have to work 50 hours a week because you got to pay the bills, it's time to look at the choices that you made around how you spent your money, so that now you have all those bills to pay, so that you have to work a job you don't like. And I know that that's a little bit of a tough truth to swallow, but it's true. It's time to start looking at the choices and the consequences of those choices. Because I hear so many people, I want to do this, I don't have enough time. We absolutely all have the same amount of time. It's just a question of what we're doing with it. And I can't stress that enough. I kind of go back to Stephen Covey and the 7 habits of highly effective people. And habit number 3 is first things first. And this habit is so powerful that after he wrote the 7 habits, he wrote an entire book on first things first. I love that book. And I talk about this a lot in my book, Primetime, The Power of Effective Planning. I'm actually doing a presentation in May in New Jersey for a group of ladies up there on my book Primetime. Well, assuming that the coronavirus epidemic or pandemic is able to be resolved by then, it may be postponed. I guess that's certainly a possibility. But it's one of my favorite topics to talk about, because the principles of time management really boil down to, we've just got to be intentional about how we spend our time. It's absolutely possible to train to run a marathon and work a full-time job. I've done it. I've done it while working 2 jobs and going to school. Now, I didn't have much time to do anything else, but I knew that was my choice, right? Even I catch myself sometimes saying, oh, I don't have time to do that, or I don't have time for that. But really, what I need to remember to say is, I have the time. I just chose to spend it doing something else. I was running with somebody. It's been several months ago. And we were talking about eating healthy. And Mac and I drink a lot of fresh vegetable juice, fresh squeezed vegetable juice. And I'm a little excited about it, because it's just been so powerful for both of us and a lot of people that we know, as a way to enhance our nutrition. And so I talk about it a lot, particularly when I'm, maybe when I'm running or with people who are interested in improving their health, because it's a natural fit. If you're interested in improving your health, you need to know about juicing. And so I was telling this person about juicing, and they made a comment. They just said, I don't have time for that. Now, I didn't pursue the topic any further because, if that person believes that they don't have time to improve their health, they don't want to hear me lecture them about how they can make the time, and I recognize that people who want our advice will ask for it, and that person had not asked for advice on how to make the time. So I didn't give it to them. But here's the thing. We are so good at creating excuses for ourselves. If I want to eat healthier by drinking fresh vegetables and fruits juice, then what I could do is I could take Sunday afternoon and go buy groceries, cut up the fruits and vegetables, run them through the juicer, and then freeze them. And then every day the rest of the week, I would have some juice to pull out of the freezer. So we want to make something happen, we will find a way. If we don't, it's so easy to find an excuse. And we're good at it. I know we are good at it, but we've got to get over our excuses. And the time trade-off is what forces us to sit down and look at that and say, is what I'm doing worth the amount of life I'm trading for it? And I think if the answer is no, that gives us a really good qualifier for saying, hey, this might be a great activity, but it's not what I need to be doing. It's not the best use of my time and talents and skills. And when I understood that, it became so much easier for me to be effective, because I stopped saying yes to everything and only said yes to the most important things. And that's what allowed me to train to run my first marathon and work 2 jobs and go to school all at the same time. Because I recognized that I could do all of those things, but it would be a lot of sacrifice. I sacrificed going out to eat with friends, on a regular basis. There were times when Mac would go out and I would stay home and do homework because I knew I wanted to keep that GPA up, or I had to get that test turned in or that essay turned in. And I said no to some fun things, but that's okay because I knew why I was doing it. And so it allowed me to be so much more effective at reaching the goals that were important to me. So the time trade-off is really thinking about, there again, just examining, how am I spending my time and energy? I've talked about this before. I talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the year because I think I challenged you in that episode to go back and look at your calendar and take a hard look at saying, what activities did not bring me joy? And this is kind of the same concept. What activities aren't bringing me or others the value for the time that I've invested? Do I feel fulfilled when I walk away from that? I know I've gone to meetings or social gatherings or something like that and left thinking, well, boy, that was a waste of my time. And so the trick is not to beat myself up for it, but next time I think really, really, really deeply before I make a commitment to a social get together. Because those things can be fun, but am I going to walk away going, man, I'm a better person because of it? And that doesn't mean you learn something necessarily. Maybe you need some relaxation. Maybe you need some time with your girlfriends to go to lunch. But you'll walk away from that going, man, I'm a better person because of this. I've grown because of this. Or I'm more rested. Or I'm a better version of me because of this. So there's nothing wrong with those relaxation activities. It's just that I think so many of us are not intentional about the choices we're making relative to how we're spending our time and what we're getting for it. Because we're so good at saying, well, I can't do this because I can't do this. We absolutely can do just about anything that's physically, humanly possible. Because there's probably somebody who has already done what you want to do. You just have to decide, are you willing to do what they had to do to get to do what they do? Right? That's the question you have to ask yourself. And that's the time trade-off. You want to train to run a marathon or get in shape or lose some weight or start your business. Maybe you just want to accelerate your career. Maybe you want to go back to school and get a degree. And you know that that's going to be a sacrifice. The time trade-off is the amount of time and the amount of life that you're putting into it. So I want you to think about that. The next time you find yourself saying yes to something, whatever it is, whether it's a bunko night or shopping on the weekend or whatever it is. Whenever you find yourself committing to something or saying yes or just doing something by default, that's a pet peeve, because I just think our time is so valuable, but we waste it if we're not intentional about it. So don't let other people direct your priorities. They're your priorities. So next time you find yourself committing to that or doing something like that, and then you realize that it wasn't the best use of your time, use that lesson to reflect on what do you need to say no to next time. Is what I'm going to do going to move me in the right direction? Because that's really the important question when it comes to achieving our goals. Until next time.
Start increasing your influence and maximizing your potential with Ria's audiobooks. Available at audible.com, amazon.com, and iBooks. Please visit riastory.com to learn about Ria's books, resources, speaking, and training programs. Thanks for listening.